Jai Anilo Premadano Karma Kacho
How many rounds? Huh? No. I'll take my head. Is that all right? Give me the premise and the prayers. Lakshmi Sahasra Sadatam Brahmaseyamanam
Lakshmi Sahasra Sadatam
Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Dinam Kanvantam Aravinda Dalaya Taksham
Venam Kalantam Arvinda Dalaya Taksham
Marhavatam Sanapitam Buddha Sundaram Nandarkakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Sama Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Alola Chandrika Dashankana Malya Vamsi Ratnangadam Pranayateni Malavilasam Shyamam Tribangala Vitali Prakasham
Shyamam Tribanga Lalitam
Govinda Hari Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasya Sakalendriya Vrittimanti Pashyanti Panti Karyanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sabhujala Vigrahasya Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
bhajami.
Advaitam achyutam anadyanantarupam.
Advaita Nitya Anadi Anantarupam.
Adyam Purana Purusham Navayovanam Cha. Vedesha Durlabam Adurlabam Atmabhakto. Govindamani Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Pantastu Koti Satavatsara Sampramyo. Vayuratapi Manaso Munipungavanam. Sohi asti yat prapadasini avachintatabbe. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Here, let him touch it with your hands. Yad bhava bhavito priyo manujastateva. Samprapya rupa mahimana shayanubhushaha. Suktaryameva nigama pratitaistu bhanti. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavitapi. Sabhirya Eva Nijarupataya Kalabhi. Goloka Eva Nivishatiya Kilatma Bhuto. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Bhaktivedanta Sandasataiva Hridayeshu Bhalokayanti. Yam Shama Sundaram Achinta Guna Swarupam. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Ramadi Murtishu Kalani Amena Tishnam. Namavatam Makaro Bhuvaneshu Kinto. Krishna Swayam Samabhavat Paramah Pumanyo. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Yasya Prabha Prabhavato Jagananda Koti. Koti Shmasheshu Vasudani Vibhuti Vinya. Tat Brahma Nishkalam Ananta Shesha Bhutam. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. All right. Srila Prabhupada ki, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki, Shri Giriraj Govardhan ki, Sri Sri Radha Giridhari Ji ki, Sri Sri Radha Nila Madhava ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki, Hare Krishna Dham Houston ki, Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji Dham ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki, Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki, Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki, Shri Shri Radha Kalachandji ki, Gaur Premanandi. We do this last one yet? Could have. So, taking the 3 drops of water, listen, please everyone, we're going to do Ashwani. You have to take with your left hand, put the drops of water in the right hand, and sip. How many times? Yeah, you can show it. They will demonstrate. Say it loudly so you know.
3 drops of water in your right hand. Say Om Keshavaya Namah.
And then
Drink some of the water from the left hand.
go ahead and do it. Do it.
3 drops of water in your right hand.
Everybody else got to use the same cups. You got to share these cups. And when you throw the water away for washing it, throw it just behind you, but not on the next person's bucket. Don't contaminate the place.
Om Keshavaya Namah. Do the same process again.
Has everyone finished? No. Wait, I have to say it. Have you all finished? Now repeat after me. Om Apavitra Avitrova Sarva Vastan Gato Di Ya Smare Kundali Aksham Sa Yantraha Suchi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu. Now, describe what's next. Now, again,
Then you do the same thing again. 3 drops in your right hand.
but
But this time you say Om Narayana.
Om Narayana. Apavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastan Gatopiva Yasmare Kundalikaksham Sabhaya Abhyantaraha Suchi Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu Sri Vishnu.
Now again, 3 more drops, right hand. This time you'll say Om Madhavaya.
Om Apavitra Pavitrova Sarvavastan Gatopiva Yasmare Kundalikaksham Sabhaya Anantaraha Suchi, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu, Sri Vishnu. You can sit back. Later on, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shabhavani Paschata Deshatana. We offer our respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet, our spiritual master, founder Acharya Vistam, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who has the disciple of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and who is taking the message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu all over the world and defeating personalism and voidism. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai! This ceremony is being conducted by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada in Srila Prabhupada's centennial year, on Nirjala Ekadasi Day. It is a very most auspicious day, and I'm very happy that all of you can be here today. You cannot imagine the good fortune that you will receive by being in this temple on this day. Whatever karmas you have from the past, so much of that will become destroyed simply by being here today in this ceremony. You know how today got its name. It is also called Bhima Ekadasi. Bhimsen was one of the 5 Pandavas, but as you know, not only he had a very strong body, but he had a strong appetite. And sometimes he would eat things which should not be eaten. Even on the battlefield, he drank human blood. So because of this, he was not always following the proper eating standards of Ekadasi. So Lord Krishna gave him the special permission that on this Ekadasi day, if you do Ekadasi, fasting, then you will get the benefit of all other things that you have neglected. So if anyone here has neglected to follow strictly, if you can do strict Ekadasi today, not even drinking water, if you can from now on do that, whatever has been done in the past will be wiped clean. Of course, if you have followed all of the Ekadasis, then if you drink water, want to take some Ekadasi Prasad, no harm. If you can do Nirjala Ekadasi, so much the better. If you can one day do this, you get great benefit. Remember that when we say that you get benefit, it doesn't mean that tomorrow you wake up with with $10 million in your bank account. When we say you're going to get great benefit, it doesn't mean that tomorrow you may not wake up with a headache from fasting. You may have a headache. You may not have $10 million in your bank account. But I assure you, on the strength of scripture, that you cannot calculate the benefit that you will get in the long run. Some things you don't see immediately, just like Prabhupada used the example. This thing is looking there. It is gradually doing the faces. That's a negative. It's close. Uses the example that when a man and woman get married, the lady may want to have a baby immediately. It is not possible. You can begin to have a child, but the actual child will take generally 9 to 10 months. So in the same way, you may not see immediately the results of your Krishna conscious efforts. It will come. It will come. Every time you chant Hare Krishna or even hear Hare Krishna, every time you do any service to Krishna, anytime any of your friend or family member does service to Krishna, you get the benefit. And you cannot imagine how big a spiritual bank account is accumulated. You cannot calculate. Just like now, I think everyone here, we have gotten some type of good fortune by our birth. How did you get that good fortune by your birth? So many of you took birth in India, which is a very pious place. How did that happen? You think it just happened by chance? It happened because in the previous life, you did so much punya. You did so much pious activity. Now just see what the activity is that you're doing now by the grace of Prabhupada. Try to see how much spiritual advancement you're making now by the grace of Prabhupada. So, this is a spiritual family. Now, in a spiritual family, it is hard to recognize a spiritual family because we know how our material family is. We have grown up together with our material family. And, you know, I think even amongst material family members, we don't always love each other. Sometimes we argue with each other. Sometimes we fight. But still we feel this is my family. So-and-so is my father, mother, daughter, son, sister, brother, cousins, like this. If you had your choice, I suspect that you might wish to have a different cousin perhaps, or you would wish that your cousin was a little sweeter, or you would wish that your son was a little more intelligent, or something. But this is the way it is, and you have to accept it. Similarly, amongst our spiritual family, you may say, I find it difficult to like so-and-so or not like so-and-so. But we have to accept it. This is our spiritual family. Now, what is the difference? The difference is this body, you see this body, it is not who I am. It is temporary. And this mind is not exactly who I am either. The soul is who I am. And still, the body and the mind has not come into exactly the same nature as the soul. When the body and mind are like the soul, you will be shining like gold. You will get a golden body. And your mind will be full of joy. Is your mind full of joy now? No. Why? Because your mind is not yet like your soul. It takes time. Rupa Goswami said it may take a lifetime. You have to be tolerant. You have to be tolerant. What is the meaning of tolerance? Every mother who has a baby in her womb knows the meaning of tolerance. It takes so much time to have a baby, isn't it? I mean, I don't know, I didn't have this experience in this life, but when I see mothers, I know that they understand the baby is inside and it takes time. They have to be patient. When you start a business, does it make money overnight? In fact, you're lucky if it doesn't lose all your money. You have to be patient. Everything requires patience. You get on the freeway, in the rush hour, what do you need? Patience, tolerance. Tell me, where is there anything in this world that does not take patience and tolerance? So when we are talking about becoming free of all karma, do you think you can just push a button? Do you think you can just wish to become free of all karma and it will automatically happen? What does it require? Patience, tolerance, and some chanting I Krishna. This is Maha Mantra. This is the purpose of the Maha Mantra, to gradually free us of all past karmas. And something more, much more. Because as we become free from karma, what happens to our thoughts? They go away from the problems of life to remembering Lord Chaitanya, Nityananda Prabhu, and Giriraj Govardhan and Radha Krishna. We start to more easily remember our philosophy of Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita, we start to remember Krishna's pastimes. In other words, after karma comes love of God. When we become free from karma, we can start to have some real understanding of what is bhakti, what is love of God. What, if you have to think of one thing that makes Prabhupada special, I think it is that he sacrificed everything to bring Krishna consciousness to the world. Prabhupada showed what one who loves God does. What do? They sacrifice everything to help others. For what purpose? What kind of help? To give others Krishna consciousness. Is that the best help you can give someone? I think it is. Supposing someone's starving, you say the best help is to feed them. I agree also, we must feed them immediately, but is that really the best help? Because if you feed someone who's starving, can you be sure that next year they won't again be starving? Now there are so many starving people in Africa. People send money to feed them. But why did they take birth in Africa and starve? Because of some very bad karma. Is it sure that they won't again have just as much karma and take another birth in Africa? So feeding is not enough. If you don't help people to become educated about what their real nature is, the soul, and what the real goal of life is, to love God, I don't think that you're actually giving them the best help. Sometimes when people see our Hare Krishna devotees distributing books, they say, you people, you're just, begging money. Prabhupada said, we are not beggars. We are giving, we are not begging. I didn't come here to beg, Prabhupada said. One time, Prabhupada was speaking, University of California, Berkeley. An Indian girl stood up and challenged Prabhupada. Swamiji, why did you come to America? America doesn't need, Americans don't need anything that you can give. They have everything. And Prabhupada chastised her. He said, I did not come to this country as a beggar. I did not come to this country to beg Western technology. I came to this country to give them what they didn't have. I came to give them love for God, Krishna consciousness. So we are not beggars. When we give Prabhupada's books to people, that is not begging. We are giving knowledge. And we are giving them a chance to give a donation which will be given to Krishna to begin their spiritual life. So you're taking your first initiation or second initiation. Is the principal point to learn is Prabhupada's mood. Prabhupada's mood was to give Krishna consciousness to others. That was the greatest lesson that he wanted us to learn. Of course, if you're not Krishna conscious, how will you give Krishna consciousness to others? Of course, that's true. You can speak so many nice words, but if your heart, if your life is not in the right way, how much effect will the words have? So yes, certainly we want to advance in Krishna consciousness or sadhana bhakti. But if it doesn't manifest in the form of helping and giving to others, then we question. We are not Bhajananandis, we are Goskinandis. In this day and age, people cannot do bhajan. Prabhupada said, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur said, my dear mind, what kind of Vaishnava are you? Just for some name and fame, you are sitting down in a secluded place and chanting Hare Krishna. What kind of Vaishnava are you? What kind of Vaishnava was Prabhupada and Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur? Make a temple in the middle of the city, where all the people are. Not in some far-off, beautiful, scenic place where we can forget the world. Where our business is to minister to the people of the world, to minister to their needs. I'm so happy that Hare Krishna Dham is right in the middle of Houston. I don't think it's by chance that we're in the middle of Houston and not in Sugarland. There must be a reason why Radha Nilamana was sat here, and it's not just because the property was cheap. You will see what the reason is. You will see what the reason is. You establish a restaurant here, you will see the reason. Then you see if you put a restaurant in Sugarland, nobody will come. And if they do come, they didn't need to come. But you put a restaurant here, and all the people who needed to come and to eat Krishna Prasad will be able to come. I think this place is very good because this place doesn't belong to any one community or group of people. This area of the city is a cosmopolitan area of the city. And that's why Krishna came here, because Krishna's cosmopolitan. First thing Prabhupada said when he went to Bombay at the Sadhu Samaj, he said, you can't understand. He told the people, 5,000 Bombay-ites, 5,000 Bombay dwellers had come, all high-class people. And they all saw the Westerners with Prabhupada. Prabhupada. And this was the first time we had come to India. First time they had seen Western devotees. And everyone was amazed. Their eyes were popping out of their heads practically. And Prabhupada said, you're wondering how it is that I have done this. Have I paid them some money, you're thinking? Or have I put some drug in their food? He said, no. The reason why you're so surprised is because you thought that Krishna is an Indian god. You thought that Krishna is God for Indian people. You think that God is for Indian people. If God is God, how can he be so limited? God is for everyone. This is Prabhupada's greatness. You see, Prabhupada did not have this stereotype idea that this is only for the people of India. He could understand. He understood. When I met one of Prabhupada's godbrothers, he told me, we read in the Chaitanya Chaitamrita that Lord Chaitanya predicted that in every town, village of the world, Hare Krishna mantra would be chanted. He said, but actually we thought it was simply some, hope or some poetic words until your Guru Maharaj went all over the world and made it happen. Then we understood that actually it is a fact. This is Prabhupada's greatness. This is Prabhupada's greatness. Prabhupada's greatness is in Africa, in South America, in Russia, in China, in Australia, in Europe, in North America. Where is the place that Prabhupada's movement has not gone? I mean, you know how long it took the Christians to spread their religion? They've had 2,000 years. How long has Prabhupada's movement had? Only 30 years. Where were the Christians after 30 years? They were hiding. Can you understand what has happened in 30 years? Do you know how many how many books of the Hare Krishna movement have been sold in 30 years? Do you know what the number is now? Does anyone know?
500 million.
500 million books. The human population is 5 billion. 10% of human population. And that means much more than 10, because when a family gets a book, it's not that one person gets that book. So at least you can double that. At least 20% of the people on this planet, already in 30 years, have got a book. It's astounding. It is astounding what Prabhupada has done. This, when we give you initiation, what are we doing? We are connecting you with Prabhupada. You understand, you're being plugged into 220 current. You get a jolt from 110, but you know what it feels like in India. If you ever got the jolt in India, it's not like in America. This is an Indian current you're dealing with. So you are expected to get, surcharged. You're not supposed to come out of this ceremony the same person. That's why this is said, initiation is another birth. That's why we give a spiritual name. And I hope that, all people will use that spiritual name. There are very important responsibilities with initiation. I am giving you initiation because I trust that each and every one of you will keep your vows. Not all devotees have kept their vows. Not all the people who have sat here and said Swaha and I promise have kept their promise. Some have broken their promise. I hope that, you do everything possible that this should not happen. This is a very responsible action that you're taking. This is lifetime, actually it is meant to be eternal vows. Relationships between our devotees is not just in this life. This is not just, can you sit cross-legged? Try to sit cross-legged. Prabhupada corrected someone at my initiation, not me, someone else. He said, sit properly. This is an asana. The other thing is not, it's something else. So this is a family. I want to repeat. In the family, we should keep happy, peaceful relations in the family. We should not hang our dirty laundry out. Do we have dirty laundry? Yes. What is our dirty laundry? We're not perfect. So when you see another devotee's mistakes or problems, what should you do? No, don't overlook it. I'll get you a better answer than that. That's a good answer, but I'm going to give you a better answer. I don't even think that's a good answer. But that I agree with you also is a good answer. But there's still a better answer. Come on, one of you must be very intelligent. No, I'm not yet.
Offer amazing statement and humbly
No. But you should think, I'm surprised though, you should think that if they have these problems, they're nothing compared to the problems I have. Isn't it true? And if I was to complain about their problems, since I have more problems than they do, if they started to tell everybody else the problems I have, how would I feel? Of course, we're not called called Christians. I don't say we are not Christians. I think we are in the truest sense. But that is one of the 10 Commandments, to treat others as you would have them treat you. So I can't imagine how anyone could criticize this temple, the devotees in this temple, unless they have no faults. Now, is there anyone here who says he has no faults or she has no faults? And please raise your hand, because I want to come and touch your feet and shelter you. And unless and until someone is so pure, on what grounds are they criticizing? That means their nature is fault-finding. Now, Prabhupada explained the nature of a fault-finder. He gave the example that there are 2 flying insects. One is a good one, called the bee, the honeybee. And the honeybee is always looking for pollen to make honey. And another flying insect is what? A fly. And what do flies look for? The sore in the body. Right? In India, if you have a sore in your body, who lands there? A honeybee? Will a honeybee land on a sore in the body? No. A fly lands there. So people who are constantly, openly criticizing and fault-finding are fly mentalities. Now, when you see a fly, what do? You go like this, right? So please keep away. So you have to do like this, say, oh, please keep away. And you should make honeybees come, not flies. I tell all of you this because you must protect yourselves from flies. A property that is infested with flies is a very unclean place. We should keep but now I'll go to the next point. If a place is kept very clean, it's less likely that flies will come. So when we see that there are a lot of flies, what should we understand? We should know they are flies. But we should also know our place may not be very clean. That means we have to be so careful to keep our hearts, our temples, our society so clean and pure and perfect that flies cannot find any place to land. They just keep hovering and finally they go off to some other place to fly around and sit. We should make our institution so perfect and ideal that the flies just lose interest and fly somewhere else. Is my point well made? Are you getting the message, everyone? Help each other. Your duty is to help each other. I talked about this last night, that I am very much depending on each of you to help each other. If you see a devotee having a problem, please help them as much as you can. Some of you are getting second initiation. I will say something about this. Quite a few of you. Hari Lila Prabhu has been serving very faithfully here. Now, for many years, he and his wife also serves faithfully. She is a bit slow in coming forward. If it was up to me, I would have dragged her into the initiation today. She would have fought with me, begged me, she would have cried. I wouldn't want to see her cry. But she should know that I am very patient, and one day we will all sit here and be so happy to see her again. But she's very sweet and good lady and good devotee. So Hari Lila is helping so many ways. He has, come forward in so many ways with our project. And I'm very happy. He was also very patient, waiting all this time for his second initiation. And I'm going to look forward to his starting to do some deity worship now. That is, of course, the meaning of getting second initiation. Some people are so foolish that they demand second initiation, and then when they get it, they just parade around and say, "No, I'm a Brahmin." I won't name who such fools are. They know very well. Then there are some other. Arjuna Krishna probably is the most extraordinary case for second initiation. When did you get your first initiation?
1979.
I'm such a strict guru. I made him wait 17 years for the second initiation. Now, no one can ever claim that, you know, I should get it now. I've already been waiting 1 year or 2 years. 17 years. But I must say definitely that Arjuna Krishna fully deserves the second. He has his own business, carpet cleaning business. There's not a single, and his service to me personally, every morning he comes at 4:30 on the dot and assists me every morning from 4:30 to 7 before he goes to work, every day of the year, except when his alarm doesn't work. Which occasionally happens. But it's not very often.
All by your mercy should have been.
You mean the alarm doesn't Then Ujjwala Das also is getting his second initiation. He's going to be defending his doctoral dissertation in July. We pray that the deities bless him, that you bless him with full intelligence to properly defend his PhD dissertation. And he'll be doing postdoctoral work after that. Very good devotee, also from Houston. They're always thanking me. Now I'm trying to make some good arrangement for his marriage, and they're so pleased in every way about what I'm doing. And you know that Sindhis are the most materialistic people in India. Is it true or not? It is true. No, even they admit it. Proudly admit it. But still, he's such a good devotee, and his family is not materialistic. They're very good people. They're good, very, very good family. I wish that they were here today. Perhaps they couldn't come. But anyway, my well wishes are with them. So he's getting his second initiation. He's going to be living in Boston, working in Boston. Then Rasi Kendra is also working on his PhD. Raise your hand. I've also arranged for his marriage. Where's Padadulu? Here, raise your hand. She's also my disciple. They're both from Singapore. She's a very good devotee, school teacher. So they will be getting married later this year. Some of our Sankirtan, then Kirtida. Mother Kirtida, she is Mother Kirtida, good name for her. Mother of all of our devotees, she's been living in Vrindavan. She has this serious illness, which somehow, by the arrangement of Krishna, could never overcome her. I mean, I'll tell you something. How many times, you can raise your hand, you see her, how many pounds do you weigh? 70 pounds? Okay, 80 pounds. How many times have you done Govardhan Puri? At minimum, how many? At least 50. I mean, I did Govardhan Puri for one time so far. And I cannot tell you the pain that my body was. She's done it over 50 times in this condition. And how can you explain? Anyway, so what can I say? I'm sure you're going back to bed. The only request is that when you get there, please don't forget us. You can begin your ministry there on our behalf. Just remember all my names and start petitioning on our behalf. But stay here as long as you like. When you're ready, then go. But if I'm in the middle of my studies, don't put me in difficulty. Remember that. Consider that I'm there with you, but don't make me fly there. Unless I happen to be there, don't. Because the precedent is that at every time, that ultimately, one day I'm going to leave this world, and so is everybody else. And if everyone leaves, whoever leaves before me, if every time I have to go to Vrindavan, I will not be able to do much preaching. Now you just have to figure out what you want to do. If you want to be where I am, you can leave your body in college and you can that's your choice. But I think be in Vrindavan and just know that I'm there as much as I would be physically or otherwise. If it's convenient, I'll come, but if not, don't have Padma call me. She can call me and say, Kirti said you're all right. She's already with that. I'm doing all this at the time when I have her, she cannot say anything now because she wants this initiation. Making a few bargains here. You have to go to work? You all right? Okay. Indranuja Prabhu is the disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj. Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj ki. His Guru Maharaj, during this past Gaur Purnima celebration, left this mortal world and went back to Godhead. And he was supposed to get his second initiation. So he has approached me to take shelter of me because we have a very close relationship. I have with his Guru Maharaj, and I also have with him. And I shall do my utmost to always fulfill the work of his Guru Maharaj for him. And I think that he has full faith that by assisting and serving me, it will not be different than serving his Guru Maharaj. I consider that he approached me for this, and I think it's a very good example for all of Srila Prabhupada Maharaj's disciples to see, and we shall show a very nice example for them to see. And I'm very happy to have this connection with you because I consider that we will always serve Srila Prabhupada Maharaj together through this relationship. That's my view. grateful that my godbrother, my very, very exalted and dear godbrother, is present with me through his disciple and now formally through this connection. At the same time, I'm sure you'll also feel as if you are my disciple. I'm sure all the other devotees will love you just as a godbrother. And if you wonder, well, how can that be? It can't be. Just like Srila Prabhupada's sister was initiated by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, first initiated and given second initiation by a disciple of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, whose name was Goswami Maharaj. And we have some examples of that, just like the Rajashaya Das and Mukundadata Prabhu. They took first initiation from Prabhupada, and they took second initiation from me. And they feel as if they have a relationship with both persons. Krishna consciousness is not so limited that we can have only one relationship. But each is special in its own way. And one should not cancel out the other, but they're both maintained in their own unique and harmonious way. So, you understand? Right? Yeah? Okay. Then, Donna Kaylee Das is a very staunch, good devotee, a Sankirtan devotee. I think it's a great pride and joy to have him as a disciple. And he's getting his second initiation. And then our old-timer devotee, who took a long time for first initiation, Mother Leelavati. How long did you wait for first initiation? How many years was it? Don't let Mother hear it. Where's Mother? How many years did it take you? She said about 18 years. So now she's feeling out. I'm way ahead of her, I'm way ahead of her. Now she's really at ease. Completely relaxed. Anyway, she's a very good devotee. All of her children are devotees. It's just amazing to me. It's all due to her. They all are really nice devotees. It's a great credit to you. You are really deep, and I think you're a devotee for many lifetimes. I really believe that because I see your children just have, they all become devotees. It's due to your sincerity and prayers. And of course, our Sankirtan Madhukaris are getting their second initiation. Vilasini Dasi and Rasa Manjari Dasi and Hemagori Dasi, who always has tears in her eyes, are all getting their second initiation. They have been performing Sankirtan very valiantly, almost, with occasional trips along the way. But they're very sincere. And I'm giving you second initiation because you want it. Otherwise, personally, I think Sankirtan is your real business. And I don't think that you should be distracted by trying to get coerced by trying to run into doing a lot of deity worship. However, when you are in doubt, you want to do some deity worship, that's very nice. And Lulavani, because she lives here, can do some deity worship. And she's our Tulsi Puja also, so it's proper that she should get her second initiation. But you girls should remember that you have an outstanding debt to pay back. And besides that, you are Sankirtan girls. So please don't be distracted by the second initiation so much, except to change your back. So these are the persons who are getting their second initiation. Second initiation means very regularly keeping clean. Bathing at least twice a day. You must do this now, if you're not already doing it. Chanting Gayatri Mantra 3 times a day, strictly. If you're out at the job, like some of you will be, you have to chant your new Gayatri. Wash your hands, wash your mouth, and then chant the Gayatri Mantra. Bathing can also be accomplished by the Maha Mantra. If you chant the Maha Mantra, it takes bath. The body is bathed. So you can bathe yourself that way also. All right. Now we give the first initiates their new names. I have to say the 10 offenses. I'll explain. When chanting Hare Krishna, these other devotees are getting first initiated. Bhakti's business. Much good if we hurry up and give the initiates their names so I can go to work. Initiation. All of these persons are getting initiated. I will say something about each. But I want to say, what is first initiation? I basically said you're coming into Krishna Consciousness movement officially. Already you're in the Krishna Consciousness movement. Already you have Guru. Now it is formal. That's all. But you already have your Guru. Because Prabhupada said the holy name is also Guru. The holy name is Krishna. And Krishna is Adi Guru. So when you're chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna is already accepted. But it should be formalized with his representative, the spiritual master. There are 10 offenses that you should avoid when chanting Hare Krishna. The first offense, let us all chant them together. The first offense is
Blaspheme the Vedic.
To blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives to propagating the glories of the holy name all over the world. Now, again, I'm going to go back to the flies. There are people who come to this temple and blaspheme the temple leaders and temple devotees. Now, they probably think, well, it doesn't matter because they don't go outside of Houston to preach. So they're not going, well, they're not spreading it. They have not dedicated their life to spreading the glories of the Lord all over the world. They're only spreading them in Houston. So I can go ahead and bless them. Please tell me something. Is a Dham in this world? Is a Dham limited to Houston? Is a Dham bigger than the whole world?
Yes.
So when you preach a Dham, does it mean that you're preaching not only all over this world, but everywhere? Okay. To anybody that blasphemes or criticizes these devotees, they are committing number one nama. That means the chanting that they are doing is being practically, severely limited. Try to understand the position of people who come here to criticize. They're apparatus. You should understand their apparatus. And actually, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw an apparatus, he used to jump into the Ganga with his clothes on. When he would hear offenses, he was so careful not to hear offenses that he would jump into the Ganga with all his clothes on. So, that's the first offense to avoid. Second offense,
So the name of the living God, like you are to be called to depend on the name of the Lord.
to consider the names of the demigods to be equal to the or independent of the name of Krishna. We are Krishna Bhakts. We are the worshippers of Krishna. Krishna is the Supreme Lord. We are not offenders to Lord Shiva by saying that Lord Shiva is a servant of God. Lord Shiva is said to be Param Vaishnav. Lila, come on this side. You want to take photos? Is that what you're up to? Okay, but don't block people's view. Lord Shiva is Param Vaishnav, topmost devotee. It is not a blasphemy. If we say that Prabhupada is not God, are we criticizing Prabhupada? Are we making Prabhupada less by saying that he's a servant and devotee of God? Well, that's Shiva's position. He happens to be a devotee of the Lord. It's not blasphemy. We got to understand Krishna is still Bhagavan Swayam. He is the original Godhead, completely. Anyway, I think you do. What is the third offense? To disobey the orders of the spiritual master, or to consider him an ordinary man. I know I look like an ordinary man. But I know I look like an ordinary man, and I think I'm an ordinary man, but you can't think that. You cannot think that. If you think that, you'll fall down. You'll fall down in spiritual life. If you make a distinction between the instructions of your guru and the instructions of Krishna, you'll fall down. My only business is to repeat Krishna and Prabhupada's instructions. I don't have personal opinions, and if I do, I'll tell you the personal opinions. But when I tell you something, it is always according to Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. It's not speculative. It's not speculative. Prabhupada said that even if the Guru is not liberated, if he follows the liberated Guru's words, then there's no difference. He is as good as liberated, because his instructions are liberated instructions. So have no doubt about this point. Actually, you got to wash your hands, because you just put your hand in the mouth. Did you touch your mouth? Okay. How did I let you get away without shaving your heads? Anyway. Prabhupada was so strict. He made people. He said he would make them shave their heads, even working here. I mean, I have changed this standard. Prabhupada was really strict. He made people shave their heads. Like Dr. Dinger, he shaved his head. Prabhupada would make people shave their heads for the yoga. In India, I think it's traditional. Das has very strong faith in Guru. I'm telling you this because if you can learn the move that he has, sometimes it's almost too much. I fear that. But it's so much, and it's an example which every one of my disciples should try to follow. It's very good. And I think he has done outstanding work because of this. And it's not because, he'll say it's because of me, I say it's because of his faith in Guru. And I just happen to be that Guru. I don't credit myself, I credit the faith he has in Guru. So I request everyone, especially those in Houston, learn this move. It is really, you can see he did so many wonderful services. So learn this move, that's my request. I won't give him the credit, I give his faith the credit. That way he can sit there and not mind. I'm talking of the faith as if it's something separate from it. He has somehow understood the principle of unflinching faith in Guru. That is the principle. What did you ask any disciple of Prabhupada? What did Prabhupada say was a single credit? He had unflinching faith in his Guru Maharaj. That's what he always said. He said, I can do anything. He said, I just have faith in the words of my Guru Maharaj, and I repeated them without changing. That's my credit. He said, all credit goes to my Guru Maharaj. This is Guru Maharaj. So learn this point. What is the fourth offense? The blasphemy of Vedic literatures. One of the things about the Vedic literatures is you should read them every day. Now you're getting second initiation. I expect that you know the scriptures, including you, Arjuna Krishna. You got to read every day. This should be a must. I'll sign 10 minutes a day, okay? I'm a very liberal. But that's only for him 10 minutes. Everybody else has to read more. You should all study Prabhupada's book. That's another thing Shamsuni does. Studies the scriptures. I tell you, he's a very good devotee. I don't generally do this, but I really think that we have seen some outstanding service performed, and we have to make mention of it. It's better to show examples of people, so we get an idea. One of the success formulas he has, he studies and memorizes Prabhupada's books. So that when he goes out, his words have potency. Let's see his example. And I haven't said it, but Guru Bhakti is another good example to follow. Ladies can see her example. She's quite, I really take the dust from these devotees. Let every guru have 1,000 Shamsunas and Guru Bhaktis, and the movement will take over the world in 18 days. This is not to minimize all of you from Dallas. But again, I tell you, they do outstanding service. These two people are, I think they work as hard as I do, and I don't think too many people work as hard as I do, but I think they actually work as hard or harder than I do. And I work very hard. That much I can say. Prabhupada said about himself, at least one thing can be said, I was never a lazy fellow. Prabhupada told me that. So don't be lazy. Then, fifth, what is the fifth offense? To consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna imagination. If you can chant Hare Krishna one time purely, what will be the result? Love of God. You go back to Godhead. One time chanting purely. Is it easy to chant one time purely?
Yes.
Yes and no. That's the answer. Yes and no. It should be easy, but we don't have love of God yet, so what does it tell us? We have not yet chanted that one time purely. So don't think this is an exaggeration. When you chant Hare Krishna, all your karma is erased. But still, love of God has not yet come. Because love of God is higher than getting free from karma. Moksha, mukti, this is what most people say is the highest. Mukti is only the door to the house of Bhakti. Mukti is only at the door. That's only entrance. Mukti is not the final thing, it's the beginning. After moksha comes Bhakti. Because after you get liberated, then you serve Krishna with love. This comes from chanting Hare Krishna. Seventh offense. To commit sinful activities on the strength of chanting Hare Krishna. Now you think I'm initiated, or I'm chanting, so even if I want to enjoy, who will notice? And then I'll just chant extra rounds to make it up. This is not good. We should not do this. Just like we have strict rules about initiation. Many gurus come to Houston and they'll give initiation. Even the people are drinking tea. People may be smoking cigarettes. People may not have been doing regular sadhana. And the guru will say, I'm giving this to you as a chance to begin. And I'm hopeful that you'll improve. Prabhupada did not do that. I want you to know that Prabhupada did not do that. You know why Prabhupada didn't know? Because he knew what is the nature of the material world. You see, this is a very important point. I want to make this point. Prabhupada I think that Prabhupada is the Acharya. He is the Acharya. Acharya means he teaches, he establishes what is religious principles. He said, don't initiate people unless they have been chanting 16 rounds for a minimum of 6 months or more. Don't initiate people unless they have been following the rules. No meat, fish, eggs, no gambling, no intoxication, and no illicit sex for at least 6 months. Now, why did Prabhupada insist on that? If you tell me because the people in the West are very fallen, I will tell you that the people all over the world are very fallen. If you go to Bombay, is it any better now than Houston? Are the habits of the people of Bombay any different any longer than the people of Houston? Are the habits of the people of Delhi very much different? Is it getting more and more like Houston in Delhi and Bombay? It's the same all over the world now. Am I right or wrong? Tell me honestly. It was a time when the people of India were pure, but what has happened in India today? Tell me the truth. It's the same everywhere now, let's be honest. So this idea that you can give initiation to someone drinking tea, Prabhupada did not agree. That is not proper. And I think it is you see, when Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, who is the guru of Prabhupada, when he established his principles, every one of his disciples followed. Whatever standards he set, they all followed. Now, after Bhaktivedanta Saraswati disappeared, only Srila Prabhupada went all over the world and preached. And the standards that he set are now the standards for the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And there are no other standards. And if anyone doesn't follow that standard, that means they don't accept Prabhupada as the Acharya. And if they don't accept Prabhupada as the Acharya, I don't think that they're going to be very successful. I don't think that they're so highly qualified that they can know better than Srila Prabhupada what it means to be Krishna conscious. And that's what you should understand very clearly there. There's a reason why Prabhupada set these standards, and people who don't follow strictly Prabhupada's standards will not be successful. And it means they have not accepted Prabhupada as the Acharya of this Sampradaya. It's the same as if someone who was a follower of Bhaktivedanta Thakur did not accept Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. It's the same point. You get this point? And there were persons like this. There were persons who were initiated or followers of Bhaktivedanta Thakur. Bhaktivedanta Thakur left this world. Then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati became the Acharya, and they wouldn't accept his words. And I see the same thing happening. The same thing happening amongst the other followers of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. They don't accept Prabhupada as the Acharya. Prabhupada said, if you accept me, then you accept my disciples and my representatives. Prabhupada established the governing body. Although his Guru Maharaj wanted a governing body, only he formed the governing body. And look at the results all over the world. So please understand these points. I'm telling you, I think you understand why I'm telling you all of this. And you should keep it clear in your minds. Eight offense.
We skip number 6.
Six I skipped.
Yeah, we skip number 6.
What was the sixth offense? To give some interpretation of the Holy Name. Very good. You have corrected me properly. The sixth offense is to give some interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. That means Krishna and Krishna's name are not different. Krishna means Krishna's name. There's no difference. Eighth offense. Chanting Hare Krishna is meant to give one love of God. The other sections of Vedic instructions may be for some material liberation or material benefit. It's not the same. Ninth offense. To instruct faithless persons in chanting. Don't do this. Listen carefully to what I'm saying. If someone is a fly, don't tell them that you're a fly. Just go like this. You get my point? Don't try to teach someone what you heard your guru say if they don't have full faith in your guru and you. There's no use talking there. Do you understand my point? You cannot speak beyond someone's degree of faith. That's why when you go out and sell books, keep it simple. I'm keeping it simple right now in what I'm saying. So there's no misunderstandings. When you deal with someone, you have to speak in a simple and clear way. And don't go beyond their faith. There's no use. They'll criticize and become offensive. And they'll disagree. Don't make people disagree. Don't preach to your family members if the family members are not ready to hear. Don't preach to people in general if they can't hear. Speak according to the understanding of the individual. If you have a 5-year-old child, do you try to teach them so many things from Bhagavad Gita? They wouldn't understand. You have to speak simply to them. Follow the same point. 10th offense, and not have full faith in chanting, and
maintain
maintain material attachments. Please understand this. I think all of you are pretty simple people, so I'm not going to have to make a big deal of it, but try to gradually reduce material attachments. That's important. And you young girls who one day get married, keep simple, right? Don't become too involved. Anyway, I think we understand it. It's also offensive to be inattentive to chanting. Now let's get to spiritual news. I actually didn't know if I would have anything to say, but I've been studying the studies so long, I doubted anything spiritual would come out of me. So, whenever I finish speaking, I think I'm ready. It's probably from the past. So, all right. We will begin now giving the first initiates their deeds and names. This is from this beat there. So we have, first of all, Dr. Freddy sitting here before me. What happened? You all right? Yes, yeah. Very good. This is Dr. Freddy. He's from Switzerland. He came all the way here for the Vyas Puja. He has got the best service that anyone could ever get. I can just tell you that if you wanted a good service, you can never get the service that he has because he already has it. I'll tell you what his service is, and then if you have any knowledge, you'll understand. The best Sankirtan devotees in the world are the Zurich Sankirtan devotees. They are the best Sankirtan devotees. Dr. Freddy, his job is that he supplies them books. He is their servant. He keeps them always stocked with books to distribute. Their entire life and mission is to distribute Prabhupada's books. And his entire mission is to continuously give them the books in their hands to distribute. That's all he does. He maintains the warehouse for the Swiss Sankirtan devotees. So, don't ever give up this position. That's all I'm going to say. Prabhupada wrote me that now you are the Sankirtan leader. He knew I wasn't distributing books. He said, now you're the Sankirtan organizer. He said, you should maintain the status quo, maintain your position. So don't have any anxiety that you're not personally distributing. You just keep the men stocked with books. So, what are our 4 principles that you were promised to follow? And every day chant at least 16 rounds. So I'm giving you the name Prana Gauranga Das. I'm not giving you that name, I'm going to give you a different name. I'm giving you the name Uttama Sloka Das. Between these 2 names, but that's actually me. Uttama Sloka Das. Uttama Sloka means the prayers which are meant for the glorification of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So your name is Uttama Sloka Das. I want you to know that that sometimes, I think offer obeisance is this way. That way people not be proud. No, go this side. Everyone when they offer obeisances, this is really the right way to offer obeisances. But you can do that. I want you to know that sometimes Prabhupada changed names. Even he changed them after the whole yoga was over. So this is within there is precedent. Anyway, Uttama slogan. Now next is Bhaktivedanta. Bhaktivedanta is a very staunch Sankirtan devotee, brahmachari from Deva Siddhanta Mandir. He has been trained by Latini Shakti Das. Very serious brahmachari, good devotee, and very happy to have him as my disciple. And please tell us what are the 4 principles to follow.
No meat, no taxation, no anything.
And every day chant 16 rounds. So I'm giving you the name Krishna Charan Das. You like that name? Krishna Charan. Okay, Chandrakanta. Here is Chandrakanta, our very staunch devotee of Hare Krishna Dham. I think he is the servant of Hare Krishna Dham. Without him, the Sunday feast could never go on. He is the Sunday feast. He is the incarnation of the Sunday feast. If there was a name for the Sanskrit incarnation of Sunday feast, we would give him that name. He and his wife have been very faithful. They're very hardworking. But I'm going to give him a good name because I expect that he will protect us. So as you will see, this name is meant for protection. And I expect that you should protect Hare Krishna Dham. And when you see this name, you will be empowered to do so. Please tell us what are the 4 rules to follow. And no intoxication. Okay. Are these all of these? So I'm giving you the name Chakradhari Das. You know what Chakradhari means? One who is holding the chakra. He's the servant of that person. So anybody that tries to give trouble to this Dham is the right man. And we call it Sirashan. Now Chandrakant's wife should come. Chakradhari's wife should come.
Chakradhari.
This is Kalpana Ben. She is a very humble lady, a good devotee. And although she is very tiny in size, she is very big servant of Radha Vila Madhav. And she has plenty of energy. She is equal to her husband's mood of service. She is the lady incarnation of the Sunday feast. Now, I will ask you, you can speak in Gujarati. what is our 4 rules to follow. You can ask him to say what is the 4 rules. Speaking. You can say in Gujarati. Help her to say in Gujarati. Tell her I want to. Hey. No eggs. What else? No drinking. No gambling. And no illicit sex. Say that.
Yeah, avoid this peaceable.
And every day 16 miles. I'm giving you the name Kamala Sundari Devi Das. Kamala Sundari means beautiful lotus. It's a name of Radharani. Kamala Sundari Devi Das. You like that name? Huh? Is that a nice name?
Very good, man. Yeah.
Okay, next will be Bhakti Jennifer. I see. I got a nice name for it. Yeah, covered. I want to take care of Jennifer, that's all. No. Don't celebrate. Okay, so Bhakti Jennifer is the very nice devotee of Dallas. She's the wife of my godbrother, Bhakti Pandit Prabhu. And I consider that their presence in Dallas has been very nice for Dallas. They are also, without them, the Sunday feast, without her husband's kirtan, would not be what it is. And she's very, very, I find her to be a very ideal wife, an ideal mother of children. She has very, very nice children. Where's your sister? Oh, there she is. They're so good. Both children, so nice. That's a good credit to you and to your husband. And she's also very capable. She's professionally seamstress by profession. Pattern maker. Seamstress seems like a lowly profession, but it's not. Pattern maker. But she designs clothes and sews them. And I think all of the devotees in Dallas love her very much. She's a very, very likable person. So I'm very happy that she's come to the stage to get the initiative. So all the devotees should always give their mercy and good association to her. So Jennifer, please tell us what are the 4 rules to follow. And no fish cakes. And don't eat too many chilies. He makes a chili achar that is very hot. So somebody in the family should keep a cool head. And every day you should chant 16 times. One thing I I didn't get a chance yet, but after the 8th bead, there has to be another thread. It's not on these beads. And Prabhupada actually wouldn't even give the beads until they put this thread on. And it's not so easy. Krishna, do you know how to do it? I would suggest that sometime today, if possible, of course you don't have to leave right away, but someone in Dallas will do this for you. There's a way, you know, I'll show you what it looks like. I don't have a show with me. Here. You see, hold up your beads. You see how that string is? Hold it up, the whole thing. Get it out. See? There's got to be so it sets off the 8th bead. Because the first 8 beads symbolize the first 8 gopis. So you're supposed to know when you come to that bead. So if you're still in Houston, Christian people will take care of your beads. If you're in Dallas and don't have time to do it, one of the devotees there will do it for you. Please remember to do it. It really is necessary. Okay? So I'm giving you the name. Janaki Devi Dasi. Janaki is the name of Lord Sri Ram's wife, Sita Devi. She's the daughter of Janaka Maharaj. And the affectionate name that Ramachandra and everyone would call her was Janaki. So I pray that you develop all the qualities of Mother Sita. Okay, now I'm ready. Here is a very wonderful devotee. I don't initiate so many young devotees because I'm not certain about what they will do when they get older. I've been running how old are you? 15. I don't know if I have any boys that are 15 that I've initiated. You might be the youngest I've ever initiated, but that shows my faith and confidence in you. I have no doubt that you will always be devoted. His sister is here, Velasquez. And actually the whole family of devotees. His brother's here. He's going to be next, I hope. How old are you now? 12. But the whole family are devotees. Fact is, again, that your mother selected Bhakti. And she's just such a good devotee, actually, that the whole family becomes devotees. Otherwise, no problems. As many problems as your mother may give you, the fact that she's good. She's very sincere devotee. And life is difficult, so that's all. She had to. Anyway, the next year I told you you're going to go on preaching mission, right? So he's getting ready. He's in our Vrindavan Gurukul. Of course, he's gotten quite skinny there, as you can see, but I have assigned Mother Kirti to fatten him up. I don't know how she's supposed to do it. Anyway, you should just nurse him. I'll assign someone else to fatten him up. We'll tell Bhakti did it, in fact. Okay. Someone can give Bhakti did that instruction. You can give her. You tell her that you will look after his medical needs, and she must feed him. You have to put on at least, how many pounds should you put on?
20.
20 pounds? Okay. You cannot go back to Vrindavan unless you weigh 20 pounds. 15 pounds. It's not bad. You're growing, so you may be a little thing, but this is too. So, and by next year we will assign you to preaching mission. He's going to preach, I think he may, we'll have to see. Did I say we'll be overseas? Out of America? No. Huh? That's true. You may be serving in America sometimes, because the same kind of devotees help pay for this coming here. You didn't know that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that because then I thought you had a say in what he does in the future. This was an investment. I invested some of your money. So I'm going to give you a really good name, which you're always going to be grateful for. But first you have to vow. What are the 4 vows of the man? Young man, I want you to see the example of Bhaktivedanta. Do you see how he's sitting here today getting initiated? It's something more than the way he's sitting. Are you all noting? All young men, are you all noting? I mean, this is a good example to follow. So you see. Every day, how many rounds? 16. Okay. These are actually said to be the best shape for chanting these, just by the way, according to the tradition. That's what they say. Long, mine aren't like that. Personally, but I'm just letting you know this is supposed to be a very favored shape. My initiated these are not this shape, so it's not a big deal. In case someone says, well, I want the round ones, who's down the bottom. So, Abhimanyu, I'm hereby giving you, who gave you the name Abhimanyu? I did. Well, one who gives it can take it back. I'm taking back that name, and I am now giving you a new name. Your name is Abhay Charan Das. That is the name that Srila Prabhupada had, that he got from his father. Prabhupada is called A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Abhay Charan. Then his Guru Maharaj Charan Aravinda. And Prabhupada's father gave him the name Abhay Charan. So you have that nice name that Srila Prabhupada had. So may you always follow the footsteps of Srila Prabhupada. Okay, now we will come to this Maria. Here's one of my few Russian disciples. Actually, I think she's not a Russian, she's a Ukrainian. People in America don't distinguish, but more correctly, we should say Ukraine. Is the Ukraine its own country now? Oh, so she's not Russian, she's Ukrainian. What's your passport? Still Ukrainian? Good, I have the Ukrainian. At least for a while, I have the Ukrainian disciple. Her father and mother are here. He is filming, and she's smiling. You should say what you told me the other day when I said that I'm so happy that I'm hosting the Maria. What did you say? Wait, tell Gita's mother. Say.
Okay, I'm very happy to be here and to follow Guru Maharaj, and I want my daughter to be initiated as soon as possible. Yeah, it's my desire. And, I'm glad that they met such kind of people like Guru Maharaj and Guru Maharaj.
I did not pay her to say that. She's a very good devotee. She's a college student, senior in New York. This is the University of Binghamton. And what's her GPA? 3.5. She already told me. She has a 3.5 GPA. She's getting a Bachelor of Science degree. And she's thinking about where she'll do her graduate studies. Maybe we can convince her to do them in Houston, right? That's what we hope for.
Yeah.
She's a very nice girl. Actually, all you heard last night, started home and made the family devoted to Guru Bhakti has been helping her so much. So, what are the 4 principles of power? I have to tell you one thing. She sent me a bookmark, and this bookmark, you didn't think what's an ordinary bookmark, but there's something so special about this bookmark. It tells me how I will be successful in my studies, and that Prabhupada is looking after me, and Krishna's looking after me. Practically every day, I read the words, and I always think that they have some special power over us. So that's why I really. Anyway, she just made this thing, and she probably didn't realize what it would mean to me, but it meant a great deal. So far, it's working quite well. So, please say what the 4 rules are. Did you say? No. And every day chant at least 16 rounds. See the big girls are the big. I'll give you a very nice name. Your name is Mayapur Shashi Devi Das. Mayapur Shashi means the moon of Mayapur. Thank you, Lord Chaitanya. Mayapur Shashi. Now next, we'll probably wants to do something there. Well, I didn't quote it. No big questions. We'll quote recall Here's Bhakti Rupal. She is a chartered accountant. Very nice, qualified lady, intelligent, energetic, strong-willed, expert, good devotee. She assists me in different ways in Dallas on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are her days off. And I'm very happy that she's come qualified for initiation. How many more people? Actually, still saying. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. Oh, 7. Okay, we got it. Very good. All right, everything's set. Okay. So many good people to come. Okay, it's a beautiful set of Japamala. Please say what are the 4 rules. Good, and 16 rounds a day. She is also a television personality. She was an anchor woman for ABC News for some time. So she's a good public affairs lady. Actually, she would be a perfect person in Houston. just realized. They don't have anybody here like you. They got a lot of people like you in Dallas. Huh? Yeah. Anyway, I never discuss this with her. I don't tell people. We can discuss it. Anyway, don't be anxiety. One way or the other, I'm getting you out of that guest house. Okay. I don't know, that wasn't. It's very hard for me not to joke. But one thing I have learned, and I don't learn it, is that ladies cannot take joking. It's like, sometimes I joke and then they get so disturbed. They can't take jokes. Every one of them I've tried, it's just impossible to joke. Actually, I shouldn't joke with them. But my nature is that I joke a lot, so it wasn't serious. But eventually I moved out of this. Okay. Oh, I got a very good name. Okay. Your name is Radha Seva Devi Dasa. Okay. Did your knees fall asleep?
I don't know
Giving you trouble.
I don't know why.
Probably the climate here doesn't appeal to you. I'm just keeping you covered. Just it's my original suggestion. Very hard to know who to call next. I think we will call this Maria next. Come on. I could have called you next, but the thing is that the older person comes out last. If there's twins, the second child out is the older one. So you're older than them, so you got to come out of it. I'll call you next. She's been waiting so long for the we know there's something made. We have Chakradari here, nothing is completely protected. Maria is a very good Sankirtan devotee. She's got great potential, I always tell her that. And I am giving you this initiation to completely reassure you that you are accepted. You don't ever have to have any doubts. And be completely peaceful and do Sankirtan and do it all. That's my honest answer. If you can control your mind and fix it and do Sankirtan, you'll avoid problems. If your mind gets the better of it, you'll just lose them. Then the mind will stop agitating, we'll end up going Sankirtan. So just try to do Sankirtan. And we're going to study it very carefully. I'm very, very intelligent. Always watching to see the effect of the words of the Guru on someone. All right. Okay. That's a nice piece for you. Please say what are, now, this is a lifetime spell, correct? You promise never leave Krishna consciousness. Say it loud.
I promise never to leave Krishna consciousness.
What are the 4 rules?
No meat, fish, or eggs, meals, and sex, no execution.
And every day change 16 minutes. I'm giving you the name Madhavi Lata Devi Das. The Madhavi plant is completely connected with Radha and Krishna's pastimes. And Madhavi Lata. Madhavi plant is also connected with the Tamal trees. So there's a good connection between Madhavi Lata and Tamal Krishna.